Well, it's been a good day, and I believe you had a good day as well. In sports sector, it's not been the best that we expected. Rwanda has just lost to Mali in AfroBasket qualifiers as 70-63, but that's what we'll be talking about later on. Let's start it off with what is making news locally. Israel tourists who arrived in Rwanda this Thursday afternoon say they are eager to see for themselves a country that shares similarities in tragic past, not very different from their own, and has still overcome it to strive for long development. Serge Nore kicks off tonight's edition with this report.
The plane carrying the tourists arrived here in Rwanda on Thursday afternoon, and the Israelis were eager to see the country.
The important thing that Rwanda is a green country for the Israelis. Israel, to visit Rwanda is actually to be a part, to hold with you, to stand with you. And this is actually Africa, beautiful Africa, and this is why we're here. And we expect to see the beautiful nature of this country, of course.
Rwanda, nice country, nice people. And we don't have a lot of choice where to visit. They say here is a green country, and we came to Rwanda to visit.
We have never been in this country, and we're very excited to be here. And we hope to see a lot of different things, new things for us. And thank you for welcoming us here.
We come to travel, to see our beautiful country. We want to meet people. The coronavirus let us stay in our country, in our wonderful country, and we're really happy to come.
On Wednesday, Israel's ambassador had posted on Twitter that the 80 tourists would be visiting the country. Rwandair began flights to Tel Aviv in June last year, and Israelis visiting Rwanda can get their visas at the Kigali International Airport upon arrival. Rwandan tourists also visit historical sites in Israel mentioned in the Christian Bible.
In other news, the government of Rwanda and the Republic of Korea have signed a loan agreement amounting to 64 billion Rwandan francs to be invested in the distribution of electricity in Rwanda. It is a loan that will be repaid in a period of 40 years. Details with Innocent Mugabe.
It is money that will start being paid after 15 years from now. Speaking at a press conference after signing the agreement with the South Korean government, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uziel Ndagijimana, says that although the COVID-19 pandemic has caused great interferences, the country's goal was to spread electricity to all households at a 100% rate by 2024. There is a time that all activities went to a standstill due to the COVID-19 pandemic, leaving only the essential ones, but also observing preventive measures, which among those included electricity works. In May, all work resumed normally, and we look forward to speeding it up to achieve our set plan of accelerating development. To date, about 56% of all households in the country have access to electricity. Minister Uziel Ndagijimana says that the money will be used to support the expansion of power lines. This Korean support comes in support of other projects that are being implemented, which will be very helpful in increasing the distribution of electricity in different parts of the country. And it will also help us in setting up power stations to combat the problem of power shortages. This is a huge support that will help us implement the plan to provide electricity to all citizens not later than year 2024. The Korean ambassador to Rwanda has reminded that Rwanda must keep in mind that Korea is a partner ready to accompany it on its reconstruction journey. Here he also spoke about the importance of electricity in the construction of an industrial economy.
Solid infrastructure is the foundation for promoting economic growth and development. And in this vein, it goes without saying that securing stable and ample electricity supply is vital for industrial development, improvement in the quality of life and socio-economic resilience. Once this project comes to an end, Rwanda will witness scaled-up electricity transmission grid and supply stability.
The feeders to benefit from the implementation of this project will include those at Gasoji, Mamba, Nyabihu, Rwabusoro and Nyabarongo stations. Innocent Mugabo, RTV News.
Thank you, Innocent, for that report. Survivors of terror attacks launched by FLN outfit fighters on Rwandan territory have again asked that the trial of the suspects should be merged with that of their alleged financier Paul Rusesabagina and 17 other defendants. They said this will speed up things and save them the trouble of having to attend each and every other trial individually. Sejanore has more.
Prosecutors appeared in court on Thursday to argue the point that trying the suspects individually, including Paul Rusesabagina, would be a waste of time and resources because almost all the crimes they are accused of are almost identical. Rusesabagina being the former head and founder of the coalition that calls itself the MRCD, that formed the armed group known as the FLN, that in it Calixte Nsabimana once served as the spokesperson, and so did Herman Nsengimana, all accused of crimes including and related to terrorism. The defendants and their lawyers did not object to merging the individual cases, and Calixte Nsabimana even went as far as to say that he would be happy to stand beside Paul Rusesabagina in court to answer for crimes, a man he still calls his boss. Individuals and companies seeking compensation in the trials as a result of the attacks by the FLN terrorist group have also asked repeatedly that they be merged. On the 1st of this month of November, the High Court Chamber of International and Cross-Border Crimes in Nyanza District granted their request that the cases against Calixte Nsabimana and Herman Nsengimana be merged into one. It has announced that on December the 3rd it will rule on the request to add the cases of the other 17 former FLN fighters as well as Paul Rusesabagina.
Now, the Parliament has asked the government to support local carpenters to improve the quality of their products. Carpentry workshops across Rwanda altogether are believed to be worth 9 billion Rwandan francs and happen to generate a significant amount of revenue to the national coffers. Jen Mutoni reports.
Some local carpenters across the country have been facing various challenges, including the high cost of raw materials, which result into the high price of their products. We produce a lot of products, but because similar products are imported from China, we have lost clients. We continue to improve our quality on a daily basis. Though goods that are imported from abroad, their quality still stands out. On one hand, sellers of made-in-Rwanda products say the issue of high pricing is caused by the cost of the machines, which are imported from abroad to be used in making furniture. The main cause of high pricing is the scarcity of materials. The only way to develop products that are made in Rwanda is by selling them to foreign countries. According to the report presented by the Chamber of Deputies regarding the performance of carpentry sector, it has been proven that many of them are facing various challenges, which include negative public mindset towards locally made products. When you look at all the investment that was put in the carpentry workshops worth over 9 billion and 70 million with an expected income of at least 60 million with taxes per year, we are wondering if we will ever achieve at least a tenth of that goal, which makes us try to figure out where the main challenge lies. As we visited different carpentry workshops across the country, we discovered they are facing challenges of high cost of water and electricity in the country. Out of the 24 carpentry workshops that have been constructed, only 8 of them have all the requirements, and the rest don't have all the full requirements yet. The chairperson of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Economic and Trade says there is more to be done in order to increase the income from the locally made furniture by encouraging local buyers to opt for made-in-Rwanda products. We requested that other carpentry workshops should be constructed based on the opportunities in that area and also make space for where those products are to be showcased with talks. Rhoda and Mifotra have agreed to revisit some of the designs that have been made by making changes or improvements. There are over 20 carpentry workshops in Rwanda worth 9 billion and 70 million Rwandan francs. The main challenge still lies in the fact that independent carpenters import products from abroad, hence reducing market for locally produced products. Jane Mutoni reporting for RTV.
Thank you, Jan, for that report. Officials in the Ministry of Health have noted that Rwanda's fight against the spread of COVID-19 is progressing well, and that by the 7th of December, a formal request for a vaccine to protect people from the virus will be made by the country. Rwanda has also continued to receive support in the fight against this pandemic.
The latest equipment to arrive in the fight against COVID-19 is worth 1 billion Rwandan francs and was donated by Japan through the World Health Organization. Infrastructure that had been built in efforts to fight the spread of the Ebola virus, if ever it was to cross into Rwanda, is now being put to good use fighting COVID-19, which local residents in different parts of the country appreciate. Rwandan health officials have also expressed appreciation for the latest support to arrive. In all honesty, this support has come supporting many other things the government has done to fight the pandemic, especially when it comes to people coming into the country from abroad. I can say that we have made good progress in the fight against the virus, and the infection rates show it. There was a time we saw a spike in such infections, especially in prisons, about 3 weeks ago. But I am now sure you have all noticed that infection rates are once again on the decline. That is because measures have been taken to fight its spread even in prisons, and we are now reaping the benefits of those efforts. Those who were found to be infected were cared for. Those suspected of contracting the virus are tested, and the elderly receive special attention lest some of them die. The minister also noted that 3 COVID-19 vaccines have shown promise around the world, and Rwanda is ready to make an official request for a vaccine the moment one is approved.
Nibyo turi muri COVAX, turi mu bikorwa bitandukanye harimo gushyikiriza mu buryo buri official cyangwa se mu buryo.
It is true that we are part of COVAX and engaged in different activities that include submitting a formal request using the provided forms, with each country explaining what vaccines it needs, the quantity and how they will be used. We intend to fill and send it by the 7th of December. We are also ready to receive the vaccines when they will be available. We have prepared cold storage facilities for them because, as you know, vaccines need that type of storage, with varying degrees of cold depending on the type of vaccine. People in the health sector, those above the age of 65 and others suffering from non-communicable diseases, will be the first to be vaccinated, this according to the Ministry of Health. The World Health Organization country representative here in Rwanda has pointed out that even though COVID-19 has not ravaged Africa as much as the rest of the globe, there is no reason to take the pandemic lightly.
The African region today remains one of the least affected by COVID due to various reasons. Currently, the region is accounting for 2.4% of reported cases and 2.3% of deaths worldwide. But that is not to say that the issues affecting our countries is small. It is still a very big issue. There has been in the African region 1.4 million cases, and over 32,000 people have lost their lives. In Rwanda, the World Health Organization remains committed to working with government of Rwanda and partners to stem the spread of COVID-19.
Rwanda's efforts to fight the spread of the virus have also included the training of personnel.
It's not been the best start that we hoped for the Rwandan national team that is participating in the African Basketball Championship, Afro Basketball qualifiers. Today, Rwanda lost to Mali in two sides opener by 70-63. Both groups belong to Group D from the tournament that is running from the 25th to 29th here in Kigali at Kigali Arena. It was a very tight game for both sides, both teams coming from back and forth trying to secure the first victory of the Group D. Rwanda has already qualified for the finals of the Africa Basketball Championship, which will be hosted in Rwanda in August 2021. What they were playing for today was just for the pride, and throughout these qualifiers, they are trying to show the intent of what they are going to prove when the finals come next year, August 2021. Many thanks for your company tonight. Stay well and safe. I'm Ethan Tashobia. Bye for now.